course, the reason as why motorsport is where it is, where Kenya, of course, has managed to be on top of the motorsport chart in terms of hosting the World Rally Championship. He was part of the team that, of course, also assisted in organizing and planning this year's World Rally Championship here in Kenya, in Naivasha, as well as in Nakuru County. So he's here. Remember, now Kenya Motorsport Federation is the body that runs magari. So motorsport is magari, pikipiki, buggies, and everything. Now, there were changes in the Kenya Motorsport Federation leadership, and those changes were feisty. I don't know if I can use that word, Jim Kahumbura. They were feisty. You know, changes kawaida. Changes normally come with its own 1, 2, 3. And my also very other good friend, who is the former Kenya Motors Federation, Maina Muturi, alitoka kwa hiyo kiti, so we have Jim Kahumbura. So let me just ask, because I know Jim Kahumbura, we have had, the change was very, as I've said, it was very feisty. And of course, Arthur is here, and Joseph will be able to assist me in putting these questions in perspective. From what I read, of course, congratulations, first of all. I made my congratulations on SMS, but congratulations, of course, for really getting into that position as a chairman. Why was it noisy in the change of guard at the Kenya Motorsport Federation? Because there are a lot of things, we'll be able to share them here in the motorsport that came up, but why was it noisy? And it's still very noisy.
It was not meant to be noisy.
Yes. Yes.
We had a board meeting.
Yes.
And then we had our own internal, what we call the procedures we have.
Yes.
You know, Kenya Motorsports Federation is owned by 15 clubs.
Yes.
It's not owned by individuals.
True.
And the 15 clubs are the shareholders.
Okay.
The 15 clubs normally nominate their chairman to sit in the board of KMSF. So we have 15 clubs, we have 15 directors. In our articles, we can, in every board meeting, we can decide to nominate a new chairman, or we can continue the one who was there. That we don't have a permanent chairman in the Kenya Motorsports Federation. Maina was director sometimes last year, if I remember. I think in November. And I've been sitting. But, you know, the shareholders, every year, every club must affiliate, renew their affiliations with the Kenya Motorsports Federation.
Yes.
And this is supposed to happen by end of January of the year. So every club contributes 30,000. It's not a lot of money. And it's paid to KMSF, which means you renew your membership. It's like any other members club. Now, if you do not pay, you would not want to be sitting with the people who have paid. Before I move, then the clubs themselves nominate. You see, the chairman is supposed to be the director.
Yes.
But he can nominate Tony Koalanda to represent him in the board of KMSF.
Yes.
But the principal director is the chairman of the particular club that nominates the member. We had 4 clubs who had not paid their affiliation fee since January of this year.
Okay. You can name them. You are free at will to name them if you are allowed to name them.
Yeah, and there's nothing to hide.
Yes.
One of them was Kenya Rally Team.
Yes.
The second one was Fizi K. The third one was Meru Motorsports Club. And the fourth was East African Motorsports Club.
Yes. Yes.
That's Miners Club. The one for Karate is Mr. George Joroge.
Yes.
The one for VCCK is Raju Chaga. And one for Meru Motorsports Club is Amwari.
Yes.
So the board decided if you haven't paid, surely you, if the article Kwanza says very clearly you cannot vote because you have not paid. So we said, if you can't vote, what are you doing here? Why are you contributing? we had that discussion. And then it was agreed that if you have not paid, you go sort yourself out. When you come with your money and you come, there's a requirement that you also have a list of the officials of all the particular clubs.
Yes.
And to be a director, you must be an official of that club also.
True.
Not just a member, an official.
Official, yeah.
So it was agreed that if you haven't paid, we cannot give you any more events to run, and we don't allow you to attend our meetings. When you do those things, you come in. You are still a shareholder, remember? But even in the AGM, even if you do come, you can't share. You can't vote.
Vote if you don't have a vote. Yes.
What I don't understand is why people thought it's somebody serious about it. There are only 4 clubs out of 15.
Yes.
Already one club has come back. They have come back, they have paid. Physics have come back, they have paid, and they are on board. The other 3 have not come back. Let me go back to the chairman's club called East African Motorsport Club.
Yes.
It's a shareholder. Yes. Let me make it very clear. It is a shareholder.
Yes.
But to remember, they ride motorbikes. And they are not under FIA. They are under FIM. For a couple of years, they have never sent a club rep to the KMSF.
Okay.
I think the last person who came was about 6 years ago. And they don't even pay for the affiliation fees. And since it's a shareholder, nothing happened until when this year we called them, or they were approached by our general manager that you owe us money. We don't know who our officials are. Can you give us a list of? There's a form we normally fill. Give us an officials of your club, which they did. Then they were told, but you still owe money for 4 years. You haven't paid.
Yes.
And they said, we'll get back to you. As I'm talking, they haven't got back to us, and they have not nominated anybody to present them in the KMSF. Something else that we found out then is that for the last 3 years, Minor has never brought a letter from EMSC appointing him as a club rep. Don't ask me why we didn't do it 3 years ago, but that was the position. I don't want to. After that, of course, we found out what happened, and the club has denied ever giving a letter to Minor to be their club rep. The other 3 clubs who are left is Mero. They haven't paid for the last 2 years, and the other one was Kenya Rally Team. It's a new club.
Yes.
They were allotted to pay fees for them to join KMSF. And the figure they were supposed to have paid is $500,000 shillings. That's what everybody pays to be admitted. They haven't paid. They have paid 330.
Okay.
So as we talk, they can't claim to be shareholders. We have not paid for the shares. Over and above that, they have not been paying their affiliation for the last 2 years. So, but if they do come tomorrow, pay the balance, and pay the affiliation, they'll come back.
And why? Of course, we'll give definitely the former chairman. I'm calling him former. I don't know if he allows me. Former chairman Maina Muturi. I'd invited him as well for of course to have a different session about him, to have a right of response. It's very important for someone to have a right of response. But I'm sure he'll be able to come for my shows in future to respond to you, Chairman. Now, you've mentioned about affiliation fees and of course, representatives to those particular decision-making meetings where they select the chairman. I understand the last one where you were elected the chairman. I understand for what they said is that the people who are there were not in a position to put you in as the chairman. How true or false was that? And was that the case at that particular time when they were electing you as the chairman?
That's not correct. We have 15 members.
Yes. 15 club.
The one member, Kisum, sent apologies.
Okay.
Extravaganza did not show up.
Uh-huh.
Who was the third one? The third one is not Rift Valley, Western Kenya Motorsports Club.
Okay.
He did not attend, but he has a problem with the court.
Okay.
The club has their own issues. We are given orders that he cannot take part in any event. We don't allow him to take any part in the event. Okay. So there were 3 people who were not there.
Okay.
12 clubs were present.
Okay. So that's enough. That's a quorum enough to put.
Oh yes.
Okay. So as we speak right now, you are the chairman who you're going to introduce yourself to the Minister of Sports and also present your credentials as the chairman.
That's correct.
When are you doing that? I want to see that. I would like to be invited for that particular event. We would like to be invited for that particular event.
We have already sent the letters to the Minister of Sport.
Yes.
He is aware of what happened.
Yes.
But we haven't formally gone to be introduced to the Minister. I think, remember that was on 28th and he was in China.
Yes.
He has come back. We are going to seek for an appointment for me to go and present myself.
And Jim, what is happening? Arthur and Joseph, you can always interrupt me. You are stakeholders, you are shareholders in this show.
True.
You're fully paid for this show, so you can always ask questions. Yes, Chairman, there was recently after you came in, some commissions, Rally Commission, they resigned. There was a serious resignation pandemonium, let me call it that. Like they were resigning en masse. Why was that, and how have you handled that situation? Because it reflects really bad on your leadership starting off. You know, when you find people resigning and stuff, and you're starting off.
That's not correct.
What was it? Yeah, what was happening?
It is only two chairmen resigned. 2. No, we have commissions.
Yes, you have of course several commissions.
And we have a chairman of every commission.
Yes.
He wrote a letter saying he has resigned. And the other commission members will bring their letters. Up to now, nobody has brought a letter saying I've resigned from that is commission.
So yeah, they have to make it official, like.
Of course. I mean, I can't resign.
Paper, yeah, you can only hear
you to resign.
True.
1 week ago, the chairman of Autocross Commission also resigned, and he wrote a letter. And in the letter, he more or less said the other members will resign.
Okay.
You know, the same thing. Rally Commission is only the chairman who has resigned, and Autocross Commission is only one chairman who has resigned. All the other members are still on board. We resign tomorrow, we will deal with it, but they are still on board.
So I have several questions from whatever you've just discussed with us. First question is, how long is the tenure of a chairman in office?
We don't have.
You don't have. So it's open, you can run for 10, 50.
So long as your directors are happy with you.
Mm-hmm. I see you were you were in the that position before.
Correct.
So how long ago was it?
I think I've gone for about 10 years.
So the current one alikuwa amekaa kwa the same position for how long?
No, after I left, if I can remember.
Yes.
I left this J.S. Vora was the chairman after I left. The J.S. Vora also left, and it was taken over by Phineas Kimathi.
Okay.
Phineas Kimathi left last year. Then
Minor took over.
Yeah.
So now, the reason I'm asking that is, you've mentioned a few things. One, you mentioned there's a club that has been for 2 years without paying those fees you are talking about. So why wait for 2 years? Why did the board not interject before? Why wait for 2 years and this club has not paid those fees?
I really, there are reasons. for one. Why he went for 4 years without paying. I don't think it would be fair for me to accuse him on your Live TV and he's not here to respond.
Yeah, the right of reply. Yeah.
That's nice.
So, of course, as Arthur comes in as well, Jim, of course, I don't know, I was able to get, when I was just going through the documents, I was able to get Keith Henry, the Autocross Commission chairman, resigned and shared a letter. Was that on your desk? Did you receive it? Did your office receive
Yep, it was received.
that particular, and any other, or was that the only one? Because I'm sure several ones. Richard, there is Onyoni.
Yes.
Did he present a letter to you? Or
We have received 2 letters.
Yes.
Richard Onyoni and Keith Henry. 2 letters only.
Yes.
Nobody else has given us a letter.
Okay.
Maybe I can come in, Tony.
Yes, as you add in Arthur, and then of course he'll be able to tell us why rally has really, the sport is, in my own opinion and in my own observation, I might be wrong or right, the popularity of motorsport is declining. Sorry, Arthur, as of course as you, yeah.
Bwana Chairman, nice to meet you once again. And congratulations.
Thank you.
2 questions. One, I'm sure being on the, being head to head with the former chairman, I'm sure he also had his reason for thinking, you are elected via an illegality. Would you kindly explain for mtu mwenye hajui, the person watching from at home, so that at least, I know he might not be here to do that, right of response, but maybe for someone who might not understand why there's that term illegality. People are suggesting as a illegality.
First, let me tell you, Minor is my friend.
Yeah.
Yes. You've been in the motorsport together for all these years.
Together for many years. What happens in our board meeting? We have 15 clubs. And our quorum is 50 plus 1.
Okay.
Is it 50? No, quorum is 75%.
Okay.
Or 15. So, before you start any meeting, first you register everybody who is present. Which means the only people who are not present was Kisum, who sent an apology. Extravaganza did not send anything, but they didn't show up. And Western Motor Club. So 3 clubs were not present. So we had 12 clubs.
Yeah, 12 is quorum.
12 is beyond the quorum.
True.
That's nobody lied to you. Everybody signed the attendance list first. And the agenda, on the agenda item, number 1 is quorum.
Yeah, the quorum is important, for sure. Yeah,
you cannot start a meeting until somebody confirms we have a quorum.
Yes.
That's why we sign on. Then we agree the people who have signed on are the officials, and we can start a business. And by the way, in our articles, if we have a meeting, and 5 minutes, the chairman is not there, we have a right to appoint a chairman among ourselves.
That's what happened last time.
Exactly. Mine came late. So he found me already sitting.
So, Tony,
that's interesting, Chairman, because sorry, Joseph.
So, and I'm quoting something from Minor. He's saying, and he's quoting an article, I think Article 23, and he says that in the it confirms that KMSF affiliation fee, but so he confirms he had not paid. But he also says, where is it? He also says that he can only, the memorandum of articles bars any club in arrears from sitting in an annual general meeting and not a director's meeting such as the one that was held on Wednesday. So,
you see, let me go. We are members of clubs ourselves.
Yes.
let's say you are a member of Parkland Sports Club.
Yes, Parklands. Yeah.
When you join, you pay a fee.
True.
But there's a fee you pay every quarterly
Yes.
or every month.
Every month.
If you do, what happens to you? If you don't pay, can you go to?
You won't be able to access services.
You will not be able to access services. It is the same thing. This is a private members club. Affiliation means you must pay affiliation every year. If you don't pay, why should you be allowed in?
Yeah.
So the question here is, he quoted your own articles, but you...
There is the internal rules now.
Okay.
You see, there is the article, that's the document that comes in. Then we have our own constitution as a club. If you go to the articles, there's no affiliation. But if you go to the internal rules, there's affiliation. How we, the document, the original articles can't tell you everything. We have our own, what we call internal rules. What do the internal rules say? If you don't pay, you are not affiliated. You see, what do you understand by affiliation?
You're part of the process.
Yeah. You must pay your affiliation. What does affiliation mean? You are still a member of that. You are still a member of that. If you don't pay, I'll give a very good example. Physics K stayed away for 10 years. But about 6 years ago, they came back. We sat down, we calculated how much money have you paid and how much have we lost. If you paid us 6 years, this money you have not been paying, what have we lost as a club?
As a foundation.
So we topped up what you have not paid and what we thought should have, the people who had paid achieved. And he sat down, he paid, and he came back.
A follow-up to what Jose was asking. Are there any clubs as part of the quorum that voted you in? Are there any members of those clubs who haven't paid their affiliation? Because I think that's what they're implying. That you have quorum, but you have quorum of people who don't qualify.
The only people who are out. See, we have 15 clubs.
Yes. And 3 were absent.
Yeah. So we are left with 12.
So the 12 had all paid their affiliation.
Yeah. Anybody who had not paid was asked to leave.
All right. So
nobody sat in that meeting who had not complied. Now one has already paid, so to come back. Next meeting would be allowed to come in.
Yeah.
Even the other ones, if they pay, he's very clear. He accepted. He had not paid.
Were they protesting, Jim? Were they protesting, Chairman? Were they protesting? Is there a protest? Were they barred from coming? Did they feel uncomfortable? I'm just using comfortable. I'm just lacking the word for it. Were they uncomfortable coming for that meeting where you were elected? What are the contentious issues that made these people not show up? Because there must be a reason why. You are the chairman right now. I'm sure you are privy of certain reasons. And of course, you should be looking to reconcile and bring everybody on board. Because if you go alone on this one, unajuaga venye mambo inakuanga. Ukienda peke yako, watu watapiga marisasi huku na huku. Yani, not risasi just figuratively, like it will just be chaos in your leadership.
First before the meeting, accounts were sent out to all the shareholders, to all the directors, sorry. And the list of the people who had not paid for affiliation was there. So they knew. They knew they had not paid. It's not that they didn't know.
They didn't know, yeah, true.
It was accounts for that meeting. Their names were there.
Yeah.
Now, and everybody came except now. Remember, I only said the people who did come were
you mentioned the Kisumu, then you mentioned the Konku and the Western.
Those Western, he's a problem with the members.
Yes.
He can't come to. We have been restrained by the court. Then, what do you call him? Peter's Crab.
Concours d'Elegance.
He didn't show up, but he never sent any apologies. So the only people who did not attend. Other people attended.
And voted.
No. Then the ones who had not paid affiliation were asked to leave.
Oh, okay.
Are you together up to there?
Yep.
The ones who are not perforation fee were asked to leave.
Yes.
And that's exactly what happened.
How many left?
3.
So that now comes down to 9. So
Yes.
the only
Yeah.
clubs that voted you in were 9.
Yeah, that's correct.
And the from also I think it's in public domain, like the entire commission, the likes people who you've worked with for a long time, and I don't know why they're in protest, they're leaving, they're getting out of their commissions. The likes of the whole rally commission, yeah, Ian Duncan, Karan, those are top drivers that of course you've worked with or you work with currently, all resigned. Why?
They have not resigned. Tony?
They have issued letters. The rally commission has issued letters.
No. To who? The only
On your
letter
desk, you've not received letters.
the letter we have received is for Richard Onyoni. Let's be very clear here.
Henry.
As an individual or as the rally
You
commission?
cannot sign. You cannot design for me. If they did, you should have attached the letter from everybody signing.
Okay.
That's what if they sent us a letter saying we have all resigned, we could have then that's okay. But they only received a letter from the chairman saying the others are going to say their own letters.
Okay.
The same thing with Keith Henry.
Yes,
He got his letter. There was no attachment that for the commission members resigning. It was not there.
So I have a follow-up to that. What does these high-profile resignations signify? Like, does it mean people don't want to work with you? Or,
Yes.
or how do you take it now that you are new in this position again, you're fresh in leadership again, and then people are resigning?
Okay, let me go back to how the commissions are, in our internal rules again. The minute you come in as a chairman, you come up with your commission members. You nominate, you don't go around with the ones who are there.
The ones who are there.
You come up with yours, but it is very clear, but you can retain at 30% of the ones who are there. You can retain it for continuity.
Okay.
But you have a right to appoint your own commission members. The new chairman has a right to appoint, I have a right to appoint my own commission member now. But I can retain in every commission 30% of the ones who are there, whereas my now 70%. This is in our internal rules again. Yeah.
And there was a period, correct me if I'm wrong, Chairman, a period whereby about, I think, 5 to 6, 7 years, where there was no annual general meeting for Kenya Motorsport Federation. There was that period. What was happening? There was a period of that.
Yes.
What was
During-
happening? Could be, yes.
I'll go back to when Phineas came in after J.S. Vora.
Yes, yes.
He was the chairman.
Yes, Chairman Vora, yes.
Yeah,
The
we
late,
stayed,
yes.
yeah, the late J.S. Vora. We stayed, I think, for about 2014 to 2023 without an AGM. It was very regular, of course, because you're supposed to have an AGM every year. But I don't want to say anything about that time because the board was still there. They knew that meetings, AGMs are not being called, and they kept quiet about it. Because they should have demanded that an AGM be called. And by the way, even this meeting we had, the BOD, it's good to be open. When we realized that there were issues of the affiliation fees not being paid, the chairman was requested by the board to requisition to have a board meeting, which he refused. This meeting we had was not convened by the chairman. It was convened by 2 members of the board. That's in our articles again, that you can requisition
For a board meeting.
for a board meeting. First, you requisition the chairman.
Yeah.
If he doesn't do it, then we requisition the company secretary to do it. That's exactly what happened this year. Minor refused to call. A letter was sent to the company secretary to call. He refused to call. Then
Yeah, that's
we have an alternative. Is if he doesn't call, then the general manager can convene a board meeting.
yes.
That is what happened.
Yeah. It's okay. Just
So,
before I ask you.
what have you planned, or just to curb people staying for, or rather the club staying for too long without paying the affiliation fees? So do you have a plan right now? Because you mentioned some have stayed 2 years, some have stayed a period. So do you have plans? What have you discussed with the ones that are remaining, just to make sure that we don't get to a place where a club stays for too long without paying the affiliation fees, then you come and chase who
May accumulate.
yeah.
What was overlooked? The requirement is everybody must pay his affiliation fee by 31st January of the year. If you don't pay, don't come for the meetings.
Okay.
But remember, Maina's club
Had not paid.
not 1 year, 4 years. 4 years. And I wasn't there. But you start thinking, why 4 years? And remember, it's not minor to pay. It's not minor to pay.
Club.
It's his club to pay. Why have they not paid for the last 4 years? And up to now, they have not paid.
Okay.
People might want to throw jibs and say, Kahumbura did. No. VCK has paid. And if I remember, they paid this week. They are free to come. They have paid. They have changed the former director with a new one. And they have no problem with them. If the other now 2 clubs pay, let me tell you something. My Nas club is going to pay. They are not interested. We know it. We live in this town.
I will give him a chance to respond.
Yeah,
But,
for 4 good years.
If Maina is watching or the friends are watching, please, Maina Muturi, former chairman KMSF, I will need your right of response. I will pick these notes from the chairman currently. I will be able to corroborate them or to see so we can find, because we want motorsport to be where it is. I have been in motorsport since 2008 and I know the importance of this particular sector. Just before Jim, Chairman, this meeting, so forgive me because these issues, I just want to clear the air because I will come up with a story at least when I have all these sides. AGMs are supervised by someone, either by the Ministry of Sports or by an independent body, just like the normal elections we get observers from all over. Your AGM, where you're elected, I know it's not you to say who supervised it, but I mean, who are the people who had been given the role to supervise that particular exercise?
This was not an AGM.
Okay.
This is a board of directors.
Okay.
Our articles allow that the board of the directors themselves will sit and agree on one of them to be the chairman. Remember me telling you about if there's no chairman within 5 minutes, among ourselves, we elect one of us to sit in that board meeting.
Yes.
We might decide for that particular meeting or to go on. But it is provided for AGM. We do the chairman, the current chairman now will be the chairman of the AGM.
All right.
The AGM is why we normally invite the registrar of companies.
Yes.
To come when we're having the elections. We can invite the registrar. It doesn't have. We don't have to. But if you think there's something that's going to happen as a board and things might not be as smooth as we want, that's why when we invite the registrar to come and make sure that the meeting has been conducted as per the book. This was a BOD, not an AGM.
It's not an AGM. That was within. Okay. When are we having the AGM? When are we planning?
We should be having one this year. AGM, they are supposed to be had not every year. We had one in November last year. We should be having another one this year.
This year. So we say November this year again.
Yeah. Later should be
And so November is in the next year. November.
We must have a meeting latest December this year. An AGM, sorry.
You might find it hard to govern if you'll be the chair of that AGM with the way things look like, forgive me, I might look like I've not so many facts on board because I'm still gathering a lot of information left, right, center. But from where you sit and from how I'm observing where you sit, it is going to be chaotic. That is my observation. And I don't know how you're going to handle that because there have been accusations, Jim. Accusations have been there. And these are accusations, they are alleged. They're not that things that have happened. The accusations of mispropriety of funds here and there, left, right, center. You coming there to do a coup d'etat. So many, these are things that are in the open space, like in blogs or newspapers and in everywhere, whatever, in articles that you've read. And that's why we've given you this platform to share and tell us exactly what your position is. So is it a coup? And why are you cooing? And what do you intend to benefit if that is the case? I'm just doing a very objective way.
It was not a coup.
Yeah.
Let me go back to about what people talk about, misappropriation of funds.
Yes, misappropriation of funds, yeah, misallocation.
We had a problem, I think, in 2014, and about the funding. And that's now, because of that, I come why we didn't have the AGM for so many years. An audit was done. Not an audit. What do you call it now? More as an investigation. Forensic audit was done.
Yes, an audit.
In 2014. And it was against me and the general manager. That's why it was called. And it happened. I have the report. And there are some people who are named in that report. There's nothing to hide. They are in I'm not cooking anything, but they're in that report. And money was misappropriated. When I left the Federation as the chairman, I left an income of, we had 25 million shillings in our account when I left. That's what I handed over to Mr. J.S. Vora. Within 3 years, there was no money. The forensic audit report happened. We never got the report until last year.
Since 2020.
That's why there was never an AGM. There were so many people who were interested, and they made sure that we never got that report. And I've been fighting that since 2014. What happened is, with the report is normally sent to, before the draft is normally sent out. But you cannot use the draft.
Yeah.
It has to, you have to wait until that report is officially published and given to thee. So all along, I knew people who were involved, and I kept on pushing that, we can't have this kind of people here, and they have really taken money from the KMSF. And I can tell you, one of them took 5 million shillings. He's still around. He's one of the people who walked out. It's not a story. It is on record. He's called Bimal Patel, Nanyuki Motorsport Club.
Of course, we can say alleged. Because
alleged, yeah.
Alleged, because maybe they have not been proven by a court of law or held by police. Or
is in that report?
Yes.
Then the other one died, so two of them have died, so I don't think it's appropriate. Yeah, so okay. I will leave it because they're not there. So even after that, we had, that's last year now. Maina is the one who got that report. When he came in, did a good job, he got the report, so now we said, look, this is what has been happened. This is what happened 10 years ago. And then we did the accounts from 2014 to 2023. We have the annual accounts up to date now. But from 2014 to 2022, there were no accounts. But now we managed to get the accounts. When Maina was being elected as chairman, we had all the accounts approved, so we are up to date with the annual accounts. People think there's money in KMSF. From where?
Chairman, hold on to that thought. From where? Chairman, that's a very good question. We need to know also, yes, how KMSF is operating with no money, and how and why people are fighting for that position and why people are living in mass. Chairman, let's just take a very short break. Nataka ukunywe maji. Pia sisi tukunywe maji. If you're joining us, this is Sports Extravaganza. I have the chairman of the Kenya Motorsport Federation, Mr. Kahumbura. We also have the gang of the Sports Extravaganza, Alpha Mbugua, as well as Joseph Kuria. We're here, of course, expounding more about the state of motorsport, a sport that you love very much, that I personally also love, and we're just trying to put things into perspective of where we are. We're taking a very short break. We know we have a question of the day. We should be able to share that in a bit. But first of all, watch at Kunywa Maji. We'll be back in a few. Tony Kwalanda here. Remember, every Saturday 4 to 7 p.m. we give you the best. Our question of the day is very simple. We're asking you a very simple question, and I'm giving away airtime. I'll start giving in a few, and I'm asking you, what is your message for Gor Mahia FC and Police FC, who of course currently are at Nyayo? What is your message for them as they host Egyptian giant clubs this weekend in continental competitions, that is the Confederation and the Champions League? What's your message for them? Send, record yourself a WhatsApp video, 20 seconds, start with your name, where you're watching this particular show from, and of course share your message, and I'll be sending you airtime straight to your WhatsApp number that we shared your video. You can send as many times as you can and get yourself airtime as many times as you can. I'm not alone on this show on this day. I have the chairman of the Kenya Motorsport Federation, that is Kahumbura. I've known him, my very good friend, for a long time. And also, of course, I have the gang of the Sports Extravaganza, Arthur Mbugua, as well as Joseph Kuria. And of course, the ladies who have gone for a spa at the Nyayo National Stadium, Tabitha and Celine. We appreciate you where you are. Enjoy your football spa. Chairman, I know this is a topic that we can discuss with for the rest of the many years, but what is the way forward? What is the way forward? I know we have many questions. Arthur has, Jose has few. What is the way forward? Because, Chairman, you know, we wouldn't, as I've seen this whole year, an entry of 6 cars or 4 cars to a rally championship, for example, in Eldoret or in Isiolo or Nanyuki, I mean, that is not good in terms of motorsport. And imagine if you're running a sport whereby you only have 4 entries, participating in a competition where back in the day we had 40 entries. What is the way forward? Looking at where we've come from.
Yes. You 100%.
Yes.
Rallying is dead. It's not there. When I used to drive, used to start at car number 60 at the back. Yes. We used to have 80 cars on the road.
Yes.
When I started, you know, when you start afresh as new, you start at the bottom.
Yeah.
I did. And we have been, okay, we can't, those were the days, things have changed. But things went bad about 1 year ago.
Mm-hmm. Together with the WRC.
Yes, and people might, let people not point a finger at me. I'm only there for 2 weeks. I was not the chairman before that, and whatever things were happening, I was not responsible for them. But now people want to say, I'm the one. I found that we don't have vehicles. I remember 1 year ago, 2 years ago, we had that discussion in the board. And we appointed a task force to go and find out why drivers are not coming to drive in our events.
Yes.
The task force chairman was Carl Tundo. It was John Kamau. There's this guy called Richard Onyoni was in that.
Yes.
Was in that. Bodichaga was in it. And a couple of other guys were in that task force. And they came up with the recommendations of what we should do to make sure that those old cars running in the garages have come back to compete. First thing happened is those guys started fighting among themselves. But eventually we managed to get a report, and the NCRs for 2022 we changed so many things to make sure that make it very easy for any car, so long as you have safety kit in the car, you are safe in that car, you can come and compete.
Yes.
We went, we used to say you must have homologated overall,
Yes.
homologated gloves, homologated shoes. We removed all those things to make people come back.
Easier to participate.
Yeah,
yes.
to take part.
Yes.
It did not help. Still, the interest continued going down. I think the worst part was last year. That's when, literally, by beginning of this year, we couldn't get more than 10 cars.
Yeah, there was 4 entries. Yeah.
4 entries, 5. And last week, but one. No, last Sunday. 2 weeks ago, I was not even the chairman then again. Some people agreed to talk. Why aren't we coming up with why drivers are not coming up to drive? And most people said, entry is too much. Entry fee from the driver is too much. And we agreed. We will go to run one event. We will come up with the cost. We will come up with the money with the things that have been contributed by people individually who don't want to be paid. Then whatever shortfall we have to be shared by the drivers. Tell you what happened? Those guys who are keen writing on the social media campaigned for drivers not to enter. And we had 13 entries, but come Sunday, we had 5. Fortunately, the event ran with the 5, but that event has nothing. It was not in the calendar. We are just throwing it out. Let's see. Let's test people. Let's see. Let's not keep on talking. Let's give it to the people. Let's give it to the drivers.
Yes.
The same drivers who went telling people, why are you going to support Kahumbura? Why are you going to support Kenya Motorsports Club? This event is not on the calendar, but it was a test case. So people did drop from 13 to 5. The event still ran with a shortfall of about 220,000, because it became the point that we cannot. We charged the driver then. We asked the drivers to pay 10,000 each and forget about which was much. And we thought by charging 10,000 drivers, it was a question of money, should come and drive. They didn't.
They never showed up.
Now remember, KMSF does not run events. Let's be very clear here.
Club.
Clubs are the ones. People want to blame KMSF for everything.
No, clubs are the ones.
KMSF does not run any event. KMSF gives a permit to the clubs to run the event. They make money, they lose money, has nothing to do with KMSF. But KMSF now licenses the drivers. But for you to be licensed, you must be a member of a club. Listen to this very carefully, because people want to say that all those 15 people, they have called everybody a name. Those clubs those chairmen are appointed by their club members. All those drivers belong to clubs. My club is Kenya Motorsports Club. If my club is not happy with me, they can throw me out tomorrow. I don't need Duncan, who are not my members, or anybody, or Richard, to come and throw me out. My club should be able to throw me out. Now, if I'm that bad, and you guys, the drivers, they can collude and come and become members. They can throw me out. But they are talking like we have refused to go.
Yes, true.
It's only my members who can throw me out. They can make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
Until my club decides to throw me out, there's nothing any other club can do about me. Those drivers complaining all over the world, they are members of the clubs. And I can tell you this, if you go around the 15 members, there's no new member. They've been there more than 5 years. So why haven't those guys making noise removed their own chairman if he's that useless? They want other people who can't remove me to remove me. And there's not one club. They blame KMSF. People have KMSF. There's nobody called KMSF. They should start with their own chairman. If their chairman are useless, take him out.
Elect another one.
Bring another one. my club, they're not happy with me, take me out, bring another one. But when you are not a member of my club and you are shouting that
From the other side.
be that director, that I should go, until they remove me, you can continue shouting.
Yeah.
I continue coming. I've been away for more than 10 years, Tony.
Chairman, a follow-up to Tony's question. I remember when we were young, the likes of Patrick Njiru, JT, Carl Flash Tundo, Ian Duncan, we were coming out to see them. It was a very good, tulikuwa tunazita safo. It was a family thing. We were eager at that on the spot. Right now, I think probably sometime either this year or last year, that championship WRC was taken from your KMSF and now is managed by Ministry of Sports. I know you've been there for only two weeks, like you've said. Have you had any discussions? And I'm asking you this because you are now responsible you are the chairman right now. Have you had any discussion, or are you planning to have any discussion that now the championship can be handed over to you by the Ministry of Sports maybe?
No, you are wrong. Let me explain to you what happened. 5 years ago, KMSF approached the government for the funding of WRC, Safari, World Rally Championship, Safari. The chairman then was Phineas, and I was still a director of KMSF. And the government agreed to fund the Safari Rally. So Phineas and some of us campaigned at the FIA, and the FIA agreed to put us on the calendar. Remember, KMSF is the local motorsport recognized by FIA. So Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta gave us guarantees before we even, for us to apply. He gave us guarantees that if they agree to put us on the calendar, my government will fund. And if you go back, it was in the that guy, not Jubilee, the other one before. No, it was in the Jubilee manifesto that will bring back Safari Rally. That's how we started. That's the card we use. Hey, you guys have said you bring WRC back to Kenya. Here we are. Can we do it? So we campaigned and we got it. The event is not government. The event is owned by KMSF, as I'm talking. The only thing we do is we appoint the government, not the government, the Ministry of. Okay. After we went, let me go through a bit. We formed a company, not us, the government, formed a project called WRC Project. Because we had to run one event to prove that we are capable of running a WRC event. So the government formed a project called WRC Project.
Yes.
That project brought in the ministry and KMSF. And I remember the first Kenyan Gazette is, I was in the steering committee, Surinda was the steering committee, Jaswant Singh was steering committee. We were 4 from the federation. And then there were the other members from the government. That was on top. That was the policy making body. And Phineas, but Phineas was the secretary. So we ran the candidate event. We did very well. And WRC agreed that you guys are capable of running a Safari Rally event in Kenya. We'll put you on the calendar for 3 years. So they gave us 3 years. But then we had to have an agreement with the Kenya government. FIA does not go directly to running the events also. They are like KMSF. There's somebody they have who is called the promoter. The promoter manages the what do you call the World Rally Championship on behalf of FIA. So Kenyan government entered into an agreement with the promoter. KMSF is not there. But now that's why the money comes in now. The money government pays these guys. We run the event, and they provide the money for running the rally. Now then we have a second agreement between the Kenya government, the FIA, and KMSF. The promoter is not in this agreement because FIA are there now as the people running the championship. So the government has not taken away the rally from us.
So you're confirming it's still
it's ours. And we are the people who appoint the organizer. It's not the government. If tomorrow somebody comes with 1 billion shillings, we can tell the government, hey, thank you very much for the last 5 years, because somebody else is going to give 1 billion shillings. So this money you have been giving us, taxpayers' money, please keep it now. We bring Kenya Airways or Kenya KCB or whoever to come and fund the running of that. So it is still KMSF event.
There's a lot of things I know we can have as we wind up.
Yeah, as we wind up.
To party chairman, Maj.
Bwana Chairman, probably just a follow-up. What can we do now to increase, for example, you said we had 6 entries. How can we make Safari Rally more attractive again? How can we make people want to be interested in motorsport again? I know not everyone can afford to join the clubs, but from a Kenya wa kawaida point of view, we enjoy motorsport. We all enjoy motorsport. How can we make motorsport more enjoyable, and what will you do now that you're in charge again?
Let's go back to when I used to drive 20, 30 years ago. Nobody, no club or KMSF will ever give you a car. It is for you
find it. Look for the sponsors and all those things.
To look for a sponsor to get yourself a car. That's point number 1. The club, to be a member, is very cheap. If you can afford to buy a car for 100,000 shillings, you surely can afford to pay 5,000 to be a member of a club. So it is not the membership.
It's not the membership.
If you check on the social media, the people who are talking, nobody has bothered. I have. Drivers are not complaining. Drivers are quiet. There are other people using the drivers, talking for the drivers, saying something about the drivers. You see, that driver, talk about me. I paid to start rallying, my own money. And me, I used to go and drive and feel good and go home until when I got sponsors to come on board. First, I remember me telling you that we appointed a task force to look at why are drivers not coming. I can tell you this, it's not, if you have a car, 1 to 5 million shillings running at your garage, and you're not using it to rally, there must be something wrong. Because that's why the clubs are there.
Yes.
They organize that event for you. And the contribution for the rally to run is the cheapest. I mean, if you have a car, those cars, R5s and R3s, how much do you think they cost?
There are millions of shillings.
And the club is telling you, if you pay us 20,000 shillings per driver, and we are 30 of you, that's 600,000, we'll be able to run an event for you. But don't expect the club to come and use the club money to run an event for the drivers. That will not happen. Let me tell you this. There are people who are making a lot of... See, people have been there for 2 weeks. Why are they pointing a finger at me? We didn't have cars before. You're not going to have cars tomorrow.
Yep.
Let's look at them. What are the issues? And I can tell you, it is not the clubs, it's not KMSF, it's the drivers themselves. Yep. They don't have... Let's go back to the other, forget about the Kenya National. We got enough cars for autocross, the buggies.
Yes.
We have enough cars for the Karuturos rally cross. We have numbers, but you know why? It is short and cheap. Sprint is one-day event, and it's cheap. But they're able to do it. But when it comes to Kenya National, and that's what you're saying, the one we did on Sunday is we did 28 kilometers.
The sprint.
Sprint. Repeat twice. There are 3 times, you go home.
Okay.
So you don't have to spend money on having
And a team, a
rooms
crew, and all that.
and having a bunch
traveling on all
of mechanics. No.
Okay.
It's simple. 28 kilometers times 3. And we are saying if people showed up, we could even go and do it twice. Yes, and if you see now, there's people complaining in the social media saying, no, rules were thrown out of the book, they are doing their own thing. It was a trial. That's why it was never on the calendar. That it is a crab thing. The main thing is the safety. And it was a trial. If it works, then we can tell everybody now, this is the way to go.
Okay.
What do they want the crabs and the KMSF to do for them? Remember, even brought in about the cars now. What do you used to call Rarister? Remember the Fords? There were 4 donated. What happened to the 4 Fords? People called everybody names. To the point you say, wait a minute, this was meant to help the young drivers. They became a cash cow for some people, and the cars are there, but on the ground, they can't move. Why? About mouthing people for nothing. Remember telling me about KMSF doesn't have, we don't have many cameras that you can steal. Struggling. So, and I know you're coming from, people think people are fighting because there's money in KMSF. Ask me. It's not one being there.
Chairman, Kenya Motorsport Federation Chairman Jim Kahumbura with us, sharing what has been happening in the past, and of course what he looks at in the future. Chairman, also you have the task of preparing for next year's Kenya World Rally Championship. And I remember this year the President, William Ruto, say that he's hoping that the government can no longer be the ones sponsoring that event. I'm sure you remember that at KICC, he mentioned that. That's a tall order, but of course you've told us if you find other sponsors to come and give you 1 billion, you'll save our taxpayers' money to go and do something else. So that's that's something else. But Jim, of course, this is an ongoing conversation, Chairman. We really appreciate for the insight you've shared here. Unless if I'm looking you out for anything that you would like to say or before I let you go. But of course, we appreciate your time and of course your insights. There's a lot of questions. I'll invite you more often to come and of course share your plans, short-term and long-term in terms of motorsport. And I'll be looking forward for the AGM. Please invite me as an observer.
Yeah. Look, let me tell you, there are no fights within the board.
Yes.
The fight is out there with the fans. I can tell you, now we already have, even if we'll be having only 3 members if they refuse not to pay. Otherwise, we'll have a quorum of 10 clubs already in compliance with the articles. I can tell you, we always have 100% turnout for the building. Of course, we've got our own differences, of course.
Yes, it's normal. Kila nyumba lazima ikue.
Look, we have our own fight. We do, but we agree. What our purpose is the motorsport. After I was there, I left being a chairman more than 10 years ago. I've come back. Phineas has been, Maina was there before me, remember?
I know.
Maina was a chairman before me. So the things are there. How come we didn't fight in last year when Maina came in? Remember that meeting was, Maina is the one who's responsible for that meeting. Let's not have double standard.
Okay.
That meeting he became the chairman. He's the one who requisitioned because Phineas refused to go for a meeting.
Kila nyumba iko na mambo yake tu. But of course we're hoping that we can reach some consensus or some way of working. A work plan is very important. Despite the noise, despite the accusations, allegations, at least we can find a path to Tembe. And I'll be watching,
the best people, you know,
a chairman
I'll give you a very good example. Chairman of clubs are the ones who are director of KMSF. As a driver, you and your club is Western Kenya Motorsports Club, why are you talking about Kahumbura? Why don't you remove your chairman first? Because you can't touch Kahumbura. If we are all useless, including your chairman, remove your chairman first.
Sawa.
Start from home.